Hey there guys, welcome to Dinos Vault once again. Now this is the comparo video that you guys have been requesting for, and since your wish is my command, I've not wasted any more time. I've tried to gather as much information as possible, all the analysis, all the details in one amazing video. This is one video that you wouldn't want to miss. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this video. These bikes are indeed heroes of the mass motorcycle segment here in our nation in the 150 to 160cc segment. These are the bikes that churn out the volumes and numbers and send the cash registers ringing for each manufacturer. These are also the bikes that determine who stays ahead and who falls behind in the run for the top spot. Now these fall into the naked street bike category, so that's the reason you don't see other commuter bikes like Unicorn 160 or the SZ in this shootout, or even the Avenger 150, because that falls into a cruiser category. Also, please note I've already done detailed first ride reviews of each of these bikes, and you can watch those videos by following the respective links given in the description portion below. Secondly, each one of these bikes are legends in their own accord. Why? Because they've already proved their mettle and worth in the market right from the moment they've been launched. When you look closely at the specs, you'll see how interestingly these bikes resemble one another and yet have something different on offer in their own special way. So getting straight to the point, we'll go ahead and divide this comparo into separate sections such that it is easier for you and me to relate to each individual parameter or section in which each one of these bikes excel. First, let's look at the relevant specs that practically make a lot of difference in our day-to-day usage of these bikes. Dimensions-wise, the RTR 160 is the longest of them all, with its overall length being 2085 mm, followed by the FZ, then the Gixxer, the Hornet, and finally the Pulsar 160. But when we look at the wheelbase, ironically, the RTR 160 gets the shortest wheelbase of them all at just 1300 mm. Now this, along with the short two-piece handlebar, results in better flickability and maneuverability on the city streets as well as on the track. However, the downside to that is lack of straight line stability at higher speeds. Now that is the reason we feel a little unsure on the RTR once we reach speeds of around 85 to 90 km per hour. Also, not helping much in terms of the road grip here is the skinny 110/80 rear tire. The only other bike in this comparo to feature a similar width rear tire is the Pulsar 160 NS, because that too gets a 110/80 rear tire. However, due to the perimeter frame and most importantly getting the longest wheelbase of 1363 mm among the entire lot in this comparo, the 160 NS feels nice and planted at speeds of around 85 to 90 km per hour. Looking at the rest of the bikes, the Gixxer, the Hornet and the FZ, all three get a 140 section rear tire. However, the Gixxer and the FZ get a radial rear tire which offers superior road grip, sharper cornering capabilities and better water channeling capabilities. Even the Hornet gets a 140 section rear tire, and though nothing special is mentioned about its rear tire, it does offer good road grip overall. So coming to a quick conclusion in this section, the RTR offers the best flickability in this lot, although the Gixxer and the 160 NS and the FZ are also very close to matching the RTR's agility. The Hornet feels a little too bulky and not as easy to flick around as its rivals because of its more macho and muscular design. High speed stability wise, all the bikes do a decent job at speeds of up to 85 to 90 km per hour, except for the RTR, which feels a little out of sorts at that speed. Looking at the ground clearance, the 160 NS wins the battle here hands down by offering best-in-class ground clearance of 176 mm. Also, the seat height isn't too compromised despite the higher ground clearance. I am 5 feet 6 inches tall and I didn't feel comfortable riding this bike around. I couldn't get hold of the exact measurement, but I believe it is something ideal for average height riders and taller riders up to 6 feet tall. I'd say it's always best to test ride the bike to check your comfort level with it. The Gixxer offers the lowest saddle height here at 780 mm, while the FZ and the Hornet and the RTR offer similar seat height at 790 mm each. Also, ground clearance is more than sufficient for all the bikes in this comparo, and it isn't something you need to worry about because even the least ground clearance offered in the shootout is 160 mm, which is more than enough. The tank capacity is also crucial because having to frequently make fuel stops gets a little annoying if the tank range isn't great. The old warhorse, the RTR 160, wins this battle hands down here because it offers a tank capacity of a whooping 16 liters. Though mileage wise we can expect around 45 kmpl from this bike, the overall tank range emerging from it seems extremely decent. It's almost like the rest of the bikes are mimicking each other because the 160 NS, the Gixxer, the Hornet and even the FZ all offer the same 12-liter fuel tank. I'd still say this is decent and manageable for urban riding conditions because all these bikes are predominantly used within the city limits. Now coming to another important section, which is the design and visual appeal. In my opinion, a motorcycle needs to excite you with its stunning looks such that you'd want to keep riding it and flaunt your style all through the day. Now all these bikes do look decent in my opinion, and looks are purely subjective because some people might like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn while some may like Gal Gadot as the Wonder Woman. Personally, with looks reminiscent of the 200NS and also being the newest kid on the block, I feel the 160NS really looks radical and sporty and hot and sexy among all the other bikes in the Shootout. No doubt the Hornet offers superb road presence with its big, bulky and badass persona, and even the Gixxer looks like a cheetah on the prowl with slender lines flowing across its bodywork. The FZ version 2 doesn't appeal to me as much as the rest of the bikes in this comparo, especially in these new paint schemes being offered. I feel last year's paint schemes suited the version 2 better. Coming to the RTR 160, it does feel a little too old now, having been around for over 5 years. I feel it's about time TVS think of at least transitioning the RTR 200's design to its younger siblings, because that's the common practice we see happening nowadays. Coming to the most important section now, the engine specs and the performance. The Hornet gets the highest displacement advantage here because it comes powered by a 162.71cc engine. However, the Hornet puts out a max power of 15 PS and a max torque of 14.76 Newton meters. Torque-wise, the Hornet reigns supreme with best-in-class torque figures. The 160NS comes in a close second here, putting out a max torque of 14.6 Newton meters, while the Gixxer puts out 14 Newton meters, the RTR 13.1 Newton meters, and the FZ 12.8 Newton meters. Power-wise, the 160NS wins the battle here by offering best-in-class max power of 15.5 PS. The RTR and the Hornet lock horns here as they together put out around 15 PS of max power each. The Gixxer comes in next by putting out 14.8 PS of max power. And finally, we have the FZ putting out a mere 13.2 PS. Talking about the ride feel, honestly and personally, I like the Gixxer the best, although the Hornet is also closely second by matching the Gixxer's refinement levels, responsiveness, and even the acceleration feel. The Gixxer is much easier to flick around compared to the Hornet because it is 3 kgs lighter. The FZ weighs the least at a mere 132 kgs, therefore with the weight advantage and with fuel injection on board, the bike feels just as much as swift as the rest of the bikes in this shootout, although the Gixxer still stays ahead in my opinion. The RTR is a more rev-happy bike. The more you rev it, the more it feels at ease. Also, the stiffer suspension and the overall ride quality would make you feel better on a track rather than in city conditions. Also, a major setback for the RTR 160 are the vibrations that creep in at around 45 to 60 km per hour, and these are really annoying. TVS have tried to reduce them a wee bit in the 2012 model, but sadly they do still exist. All the bikes in this shootout except the RTR offer a lighter clutch feel, and almost all the bikes offer a smooth gearbox. Now coming to the Pulsar 160NS, what takes you by surprise when you ride this bike is how swift and agile it actually is. The engine is very refined, it is by all means responsive. The bike offers clean and instant acceleration throughout the mid-range with zero vibrations. Even as we climb up the rev band, the engine feels at ease and doesn't feel strained, and this comes courtesy of the 4-valve engine, and the 160NS is the only bike to feature 4 valves in this shootout. Also, the steel perimeter frame along with the rectangular tube section swing arm offers superb handling and precise control. If there is one bike that can match the Gixxer's sporty riding dynamics and performance, it has to be the 160NS. Next, looking at the weights, the FZ weighs the least at 132 kgs, so it does enjoy the weight advantage. The Pulsar 160NS is the heaviest of the lot in this shootout, weighing in at 142 kgs, but still you don't feel the weight while you are on the go, and that's the good part about it. Also, the longer wheelbase and the added weight lend the bike better high-speed stability. Where the Gixxer has the edge over the 160NS is with the 140 section radial rear tire that it gets, which offers supreme road grip and great confidence while hitting the corners. Talking about the comfort factor, it's again neck to neck between the 160NS and the Gixxer here because both offer great ride quality and suspension settings. The 160NS offers better cushioning, and the rear gas charged Nitrox monoshock offers a more pliant ride over the pothole ridden city streets compared to other bikes in this comparo. Also, the ergonomics are well sorted out on the 160NS to offer a nice and comfortable seating posture. No doubt the Gixxer and Hornet and FZ also get the ergonomics spot on, but it's almost kind of a give and take situation between the Gixxer and the 160NS. The RTR 160 gets a slightly forward biased seating posture compared to the rest in this comparo, which means the weight does fall on your wrists and palms, and while that might suit the track conditions better, it isn't all that great for daily usage on the streets. The RTR 160 and Hornet come with a single seat layout and offer decent room for the pillion, although the RTR 160 is easier for ladies to hop onto because it feels relatively shorter compared to the lifted up tail section of the Hornet. The Gixxer also gets a single seat layout, but only a super model would feel comfortable in the pillion space that's on offer on the Gixxer. The FZ also offers good seats, but with the lifted up tail section, the pillion seat isn't easily accessible for the ladies. Also, the suspension setting is slightly on the harder side and not as good as that of the 160 NS. Now coming to the suspension section, as mentioned before, the Pulsar 160 NS wins this section by offering superb ride quality and is closely followed by the Gixxer in the second spot. Rest of the bikes offer slightly harder ride quality comparatively for our Indian road conditions. Now looking at the brakes, the Pulsar 160 NS is yet to be officially launched, so I am unsure whether they'll be offering an optional rear disc like the rest of the competition. As of now, the 160 NS gets a single 240mm pedal disc up front. The Hornet offers the largest front disc in this comparo, a 276mm pedal disc up front, and it also comes with Honda's patented CBS or combi brake system with equalizer, which pretty much ensures both the front and rear brakes are applied simultaneously, even if you end up using only the rear brake. Though not as good as ABS, CBS definitely is a good feature to have on board because it results in faster deceleration, it reduces the braking distance, and provides for a safe and secure braking mechanism overall. The FZ gets minus points here as well for not offering a rear disc even as an option. Rest of the bikes like the Gixxer and the RTR 160 do offer optional rear disc. Gixxer gets a 266mm unit up front, whereas the RTR gets a 270mm unit. Please do watch my how to brake on a non-ABS bike video by following the link appearing on the screen currently. Mileage wise, almost all bikes offer a similar range of fuel efficiency around 45 to 50 kmpl. There are a lot of factors that come into play here like riding style, riding conditions, etc. Please do go through my mileage tips video by following the link appearing on the screen currently. As per user feedback that I have gathered, the Gixxer offers close to 50 kmpl in city conditions if ridden sensibly. For Hornet, the figures that the owners shared is around 48 kmpl. From my FZ version 2, I used to get around 43 kmpl in the city, and the same was the case from my RTR 160 Hyperridge. I am a little optimistic about the Pulsar 160 NS because Bajaj bikes usually offer decent mileage. I used to get around 48 kmpl from my Pulsar 180 and around 58 kmpl from my Pulsar 150. So I'm hoping that the 160 NS offers at least 48 kmpl in real world conditions. Maintenance cost wise, Bajaj bikes are the best as the spares are easily available and the cost of the spares is also very minimal compared to other brands. TVS too, being an Indian brand, is quite easy on the pocket maintenance wise. The Japanese brands are slightly expensive comparatively, although they are not overtly expensive either for you to worry about. Engine life, durability and reliability is better on the Japanese bikes in this shootout, although the Indian brands are also getting better as the days progress and really giving them a tough fight. Looking at the instrument consoles, the one on the Gixxer is the most impressive of the lot with loads of features and adjustments on offer. Please watch my Gixxer SP edition review where I talk about the features the instrument console has on offer. You can follow the link appearing on the screen currently. Rest of the bikes also offer decent consoles, but it is the Gixxer that clearly stands out in this section. Looking at the price, the RTR 160 wins the price battle by being the most affordable bike in the shootout at around 78k ex-showroom Hyderabad. The reason the Gixxer comes across as a superb deal is because of its unbeatable pricing. It is the second most affordable bike in the shootout despite being almost the winner across the various sections in this comparo. Ex-showroom price here in Hyderabad for the Gixxer is around 80k. The good news for Yamaha fanboys is that with the GST implementation, prices have been slashed for the FZS version 2 by around 2k. So the FZS version 2 is now available for an ex-showroom price of around 83k. The Hornet 2 is an amazing proposition because it is available for an ex-showroom price of around 82k here in Hyderabad. Finally, the Pulsar 160 NS is cleverly priced at around Rs 81k here in Hyderabad ex-showroom. Though being just 1k dearer than the Gixxer, the Pulsar does offer several advantages like a perimeter frame, a 4-valve engine, etc. It's really hard to choose one among the two here because both have their own set of USPs and advantages. Now coming to my final verdict, if you prefer something that looks scorching hot and is relatively fresh and new in the segment with an equally impressive performance and some first in segment features, you can go with the Pulsar 160 NS. If you want to play it safe, you can go with the most awarded bike in the history of Indian motorcycling, the Suzuki Gixxer, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it every bit. The only downside though is the lack of pillion room. If you are slightly on the taller side and prefer a bigger, badass looking bike that offers great road presence while also offering great refinement and a super responsive engine, the Hornet is the bike for you. If you are a Yamaha fanboy and prefer to have the only bike that offers fuel injection in this entire segment, coupled with the reliability and durability that come as standard with every Yamaha motorcycle, then you can go with the FZ version 2.0. Finally, if you only care about raw power, brute force, and a bike that is race ready always, then the RTR 160 is the bike that will get your adrenaline pumping. Well, that's it for my shootout video. I just hope you found this video useful. If you have, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps. So until next time, this is Dino saying ciao. Take care, God bless, and ride safe.